Hello and welcome to one of my first videos where it's just a big rant. I'm going to be talking about why the UCS Death Star $1,000 is completely overpriced. And to be honest, I don't think this set is seeing the amount of negativity online that it deserves. Most sets, I think, get a little too much negativity or the right amount, but this set has actually got like a lot of positive opinions and perspectives out there, which surprised me because I don't share those opinions, or at least I don't think they're completely accurate. So first of all, I want to talk about what I do like about the Death Star. The UCS Death Star, for the concept LEGO chose, it looks really, really good. I think as far as the idea of making the set like this and not a full sphere or a half sphere, but like this cross section, making it look like this, they did a splendid job. Like, it looks really good. Everything is so tiled off. It looks absolutely amazing. The build is pretty much perfect for what LEGO is doing here. But that's where the compliments for this set pretty much ends, apart from a few of the minifigs. So let's get into why I think this set is super overpriced, or at least overpriced enough where you probably shouldn't buy it full price. And why I think people saying it's a fair value is just, it's nonsense. It's not fair value. Let's get right into it. So my first point are the minifigs. The minifigs you are buying in this set. Now, a lot of people like comparing this set to the UCS Millennium Falcon in terms of value. It released for, what was it, $850 in 2017. Now, this set's $1,000. Adjust the Millennium Falcon for inflation. It's closer to the UCS Death Star's price. That's not a fair comparison at all. You can't compare apples to oranges. You got to compare oranges to oranges. So let's compare the 2016 Death Star to the 2025 one. And I know, like, we can't really do that because they're completely different builds. But for the minifig value, we can. And if we adjust the minifig value for inflation, the 2016 Death Star, you're paying about $24 per minifig in the set. Whereas with the 2025 Death Star, you're paying $26. Now, I know that isn't a crazy variation in value, but you gotta understand, most of the minifigs in the $1,000 Death Star are like the exact same quality as 2016, if not worse, which is honestly insane because they're asking $1,000 for this set, and the minifigs included are the same as those in a $500 set. Why not just pay half the price, in 2016? Or if you want to go on the aftermarket, it's still going to cost you less to buy the 2016 Death Star than the new one, and you're getting your full sphere. Now, I would understand this price disparity in minifigs if all of the minifigs were at their absolute best. Literally almost perfect for the set. Every single one has to have some sort of unique print, some sort of improvement in print, or at least be the best version of that minifig that we have seen. If LEGO's already perfected a version like Darth Vader, maybe give us a new face print with Darth Vader, but keep the overall design, because what LEGO's doing with them already is already pretty dang good. But the fact of the matter is, we're just not seeing that. We're not seeing many improvements. We're not seeing many new prints. A lot of the minifigs are complete reuses, or just the way that they're made, it's like they could have come out 2016. So this is very disappointing, and I don't usually complain about minifigs this much. I'm usually not this strict with minifigs, because you can upgrade them, you can add your own improvements, whatever. But the lack of dual molded legs, arm printing, new prints, exclusive prints in this set is absolutely baffling for $1,000. For $1,000, you have to expect the very best. Sure, you can chop it up to whatever you want in smaller, cheaper play sets or UCS sets, but when it comes to $1,000, it's no joke. So the minifigs can't be a joke either, and neither can the build. Like I said, the build is really good. Minifigs, no. But the set isn't all about minifigs. I can't just sit here and complain about only minifigs, because you are buying it in part for the Death Star. So that is a fair point if you were bringing that up. The thing is, although the build looks really good, I don't think it's $1,000 quite yet. First of all, a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, love comparing the UCS Millennium Falcon from 2017 that retailed for $850 and adjusted for inflation is closer to that $1,000 price point we're paying now for the UCS Death Star. But that's not exactly accurate, I don't think. First of all, in 2017, LEGO's shrinkflation for pieces was not that bad yet. Not as bad as it is in 2025. The amount of small pieces we see in 2025 compared to 2017 is drastically different. I guarantee you, if LEGO made the UCS Millennium Falcon in today's day and age, there'd be like 1,000 more pieces, at least. Just because LEGO uses these pieces that are so much smaller nowadays. And, rightfully so. Many of the times it does help the detail, but also you kind of chop it up to, all right, well, LEGO is probably just artificially inflating the piece count here, so it looks like it's more worth it. And to be honest, I think that's what's happening here at the UCS Death Star. For 9,000 pieces, many of us thought it could be a full sphere. Obviously, probably not as big as what we're getting in terms of the other dimensions go, but like the sphere is definitely possible in that 9,000 piece range. And if you don't believe me, like, I'm sure there's going to be some custom mock designers out there, maybe even alt builds that come from this set, because I can't imagine that not happening with this community. Anyway, that's one point. It's like the pieces have gotten smaller from 2025 to 2017. It's been almost 10 years, almost a decade, and we all know that LEGO uses smaller pieces now more than ever. Second point I want to bring up regarding the build and overall value of the set is this set isn't any other set as far as the price point. It's different than any other LEGO Star Wars set we've ever seen. It's not just your average run-of-the-mill, couple $100 UCS set. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people love comparing the set to the 2017 Falcon. Why aren't we comparing it to the UCS Razor Crest? $600, over 6,000 pieces, under 10 cents price per piece. Why aren't we comparing it to the Eiffel Tower? Why aren't we comparing it to any other more recent UCS sets that give you a much better value? Why are we comparing two overpriced sets to try to defend one of them as not being overpriced when you compare it saying, well, actually, this overpriced set was the same price? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I do think the UCS Millennium Falcon is maybe a little bit overpriced. So that over 11 cents per piece, it doesn't quite fit the standard of the 10 cents per piece. And 10 cents per piece, price per piece nowadays doesn't exactly line up because of the artificial inflation LEGO does give to pieces now, increasingly smaller pieces. But in 2017, I think it still held up pretty dang well for the time. So the fact it was 11 cents price per piece in 2017, and people are using that to say, actually, the UCS Death Star is a fair value because it has, you know, roughly similar price per piece. No, because comparing it to the UCS Razor Crest 2023. Much more recent set, $600, over 6,000 pieces, under 10 cents per piece. Why aren't we comparing it to that? And yeah, I know I said the Falcon is overpriced, so I apologize if I offended any of you, but it's not as overpriced in my opinion, because at least with the Falcon, we got a complete full product. It's everything you would probably want from a UCS Millennium Falcon. It's the full model, it's very detailed, has that interior, it has everything. It's not half of the Falcon, it's not a cross section of the Falcon, it is everything you want from the Falcon. And I don't know about you guys, but I would much prefer if LEGO did a full spherical Death Star, fully paneled, and just a bit like smaller than the one we're getting now in terms of height, width, all that. But we would actually get a sphere, we would actually get a Death Star to display. I think that would be much better than what we're slated to get in October. So that was another point. You know, if you compare this to other UCS sets we've gotten much more recent than the 2017 Falcon, then you'll find this set probably doesn't have the most fair value. And you can argue that, hey, the UCS Falcon was the closest set to the UCS Death Star price point. That's why we're comparing it. And I do understand from that perspective. But what you have to understand is when LEGO asks $1,000 for one LEGO Star Wars set, that's not an $850 LEGO set from 2017. That's not a $600 set. That's not any other set. $1,000, you are asking something totally new for consumers, a price point you've never asked for a LEGO Star Wars set or a LEGO set in general. When you reach that new price point, you have to match the value somehow. You can't match the value that a playset would get for that price point, for the price per piece and minifig value. You have to give it a better value than that. You can't be saying, well, you know, this UCS Death Star, 11 cents price per piece. You know, we get a lot of sets nowadays that are around that price per piece, and they're not called overpriced. They're called like a good value. What's up with that? Well, guess what? You're not paying $1,000 for this playset. You're not paying $1,000 for the Jango Fett Starship. You're not paying $1,000 for all these other playsets. When you pay $50, $60, $70, $80 for a decent sized playset and you're getting a decent value, like, it's all right, it's not too bad, whatever, because you're not spending $1,000. When you're spending $1,000, it has to be a good value. It has to live up to your expectations somewhat. I'm not saying every minifig has to be 100% perfect. I'm not saying the pieces and the size of the set have to be 100% to that $1,000 price point, but I think LEGO could have tried a bit harder, especially when it comes to the minifig department. And again, a lot of people like to argue minifigs aren't everything with this set, but as far as Death Stars go, minifigs have been a huge part of Death Stars for years. almost 20 years at this point, minifigs have been a huge part of the Death Star. Before the upcoming 2025 Death Star, the past two Death Stars were complete playsets, or the 2008 and 2016 one. I'm not talking about the Death Star 2, obviously. The 2008 and the 2016 one were playsets meant to be filled out with minifigs. This isn't like a UCS Venator, UCS Razor Crest, where minifigs are just something you put with the display plaque and you throw it on the shelf. No, this is also partly a playset. Now, I'm not going to argue the new set is as much a playset as the old ones were, because they just aren't. But the fact that LEGO is incorporating play features into the set and giving us this many minifigs with the set kind of tells you that LEGO wants it to be both a display set and a play set, so they can obviously market it to, you know, kids with rich parents and those rich adult collectors or adult collectors that have enough money to spend on the set for display purposes. So for $1,000, the biggest price we've ever seen in LEGO history, I think we should get some of the best quality we've ever seen in LEGO history. Why is that a hot take? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to sit here and say the build looks terrible, horrible, because it doesn't. It looks really, really good for what LEGO did. And as far, like I said, as far as the concept for this set goes, having a cross-section, LEGO nailed it. They knocked it out of the park. They did like a near perfect job on the build, I think. But the build isn't everything. Now, this next point might seem a little odd because it's not like everyone is investing in LEGO sets when they buy it or anything like that. But part of like buying LEGO is knowing that, you know, if someday down the line you don't quite want the set anymore, maybe the value will go up, or it'll at least retain value so you could resell it and get something else that you like more or want more. So you don't buy this set for the minifigs, right? But minifigs are a huge part of the resale value, and the resale value isn't everything, obviously. I think you should buy LEGO sets for yourself to keep, but not every situation is perfect. Not everyone can go spend $1,000 on a LEGO set and not have to sell it down the line or want to sell it for something else, right? So the minifigs having a good market value does help the overall like consumer value when you buy the set, in my opinion. So to have all these mediocre, subpar, reused minifigs in this set, it kind of hurts. I think it's going to taint the value of the set. And I think what really happens when you have all these mediocre minifigs with just a select few good minifigs, something really stupid happens where all of these good minifigs and new minifigs are going to go up in value, and they're going to be like crazier in value than they would have been otherwise if all the other minifigs were better, because it's like from that $1,000 retail price, you have to split up the value between all the minifigs and all the parts, like when it comes to Bricklink if you're parting out a set. So it's kind of interesting. Like, I guarantee you we're going to see the Hot Tub Stormtrooper like $150, like something crazy for some of these minifigs in the set. The Imperial Dignitary, like the Emperor's Advisor, he's probably going to be like $40, $50, $60. All the new Imperial officers, the named officers we haven't seen before, are probably going to be in that $30 to $50 to $60 range as well. Like, the prices for a few select minifigs in this set are going to be crazy. And that's kind of like just a side point that doesn't really hurt the set value overall if you're buying the set anyway, because like, what difference does it make if you buy a set and you can sell like 5 minifigs for $150 versus one of the minifigs from that set for $150 and the 4 other minifigs aren't worth quite as much? Like, it doesn't really matter. You'll make your money back anyway if you want to resell the set as a whole down the line, like I was saying. Just wanted to bring that up because it's kind of an interesting thing to see, like sets not having balanced value between all the minifigs. Obviously, some minifigs are going to be higher price and higher value depending on who they are, what they are, but mostly I think it's how the minifig is executed. Does it have arm printing? Is it a new fig? Exclusive prints? Dual molded legs? All these details matter when it comes to the value of the set. And what LEGO is doing here is they're putting less value into the minifigs than I think we truly deserve for $1,000. But with that being said, I think that pretty much, you know, entails everything I wanted to talk about in this rant. Let me know in the comments down below if you disagree with any of my points and if you want to try to debunk them. I'd be more than happy to like be proven wrong and that this set isn't overpriced, because I need a reason to probably buy it eventually because I do like how it looks. But yeah, as of now, I don't think I'm going to buy it. Try to change my mind in the comments down below if you want, or let me know if you agree with me, agree with some of my points, have anything to add. I will be reading every comment, especially on this video, because I'm super interested to see what's going to happen. Leave a like on this video if y'all did enjoy. With that being said, I will see you all in the next video. Have an amazing day. Peace out.